Hello, my name is Geogen and welcome back to World of Warships. I'm going to be looking at a very recent addition to the game, and that is the Mikasa, or Mikasa? I don't really know how to pronounce it. I'm going to go with Mikasa, which is a tier 2 battleship, and it's a premium, which is the first, I believe, the first premium battleship at tier 2 for the Japanese. I think it may be the first tier 2 battleship anyway. In this video we're going to look at the stats, we're going to talk about the strengths and weaknesses of the vessel, and then I'm going to conclude with my honest opinion about it. So let's go. To begin with, it has 31,200 hit points, which is quite a lot. If we compare that to the South Carolina, which is a tier 3 battleship, South Carolina has 29,000 hit points. And I believe this is a fully upgraded one in terms of hull upgrades. Yes, it is. So it has more hit points than a tier 3 battleship. And it also has more hit points than the St. Louis, and I believe it has more hit points than the Kawachi. Let's just check that. No, the Kawachi does have more hit points than both the previous two and the Mikasa, but still an admirable amount of hit points considering it's only a tier 2. Now moving on to the artillery, or the main guns, this is disappointing. You only get 2 turrets with double mounted 305 batteries, and that's okay I suppose, but the range of them is not very good. You only get a 9.5 kilometer firing range. You do get 2 rounds a minute, which is pretty standard reload for most battleships, and this can be increased with crew skills. Anyhow, the traverse time of the turrets as well is cripplingly slow, 40 seconds to rotate 180 degrees. And that could be better. The firing arc is alright, but when the guns need to turn past this point they can't, because otherwise they'll shoot the rear, the stern's bridge, or the bridge at the front. I've forgotten the name of the front of the vessel. Anyway, moving on to something which is quite remarkable about this ship at tier 2. And that's the secondary armament. It says here 18, yes that's 18 80mm guns, which is, it's not going to do a huge amount of damage, one of them on its own, but because there's 18 of them, and they have a 3 kilometer range, anything which gets in range of that is going to have a very bad time. It's the same with these 152s. There's 14 of them, and they have a 3 kilometer range as well. You can see they're mounted in the sides, much like the most of the Japanese battleships. The maneuverability is not good. It's very slow indeed. The top speed is 18.3 kilometers, 18.3 knots. And the turning circle is 450 meters, which is okay. If we compare that to a South Carolina, it's slightly slower than a South Carolina by 0.1 of a knot, and it has a 30 meter better turning circle. Let's see, go back to the Mikasa, and the rudder shift time is 13 seconds. Concealment factors, 11.5 detectability range, which means you'll be detected before you can open fire. Remember, your firing range is 9.5, unless you have a good, really good crew. And the air detectability range is 7, which is pretty standard. You wouldn't have to fight any tier 4s in this, I don't think. I believe you only fight up to tier 3, that's what I've fought thus far. Fighting against tier 4s in this thing would completely ruin anyone's day if they tried doing that. And one other thing I forgot to mention is torpedoes are your bane in this machine because it's very slow, it can't turn very quickly, and it's quite big. So torpedoes into the broadside will cripple you and most likely kill you very quickly indeed. Let's take a look at the page where you can buy this from, just to see what you get with the ship as well. So here is the blog post on the World of Warships website about the Mikasa. Mikasa was a pre-dreadnought era battleship commissioned in 1902 and served until 1923. Very interesting historical information. There's also a video above this where they actually go onto the ship and talk about it in real life. Anyway, what will you be getting with the package? It says that at the bottom. By purchasing Mikasa in the premium shop, you're also getting an extra port slot, which is worth 300 doubloons. In the combined fleet package, you will also find 2,250 doubloons, 3 days of premium, 20 damage control party 2s, and 20 repair party 2s. So those are consumables. Those are the premium consumables, which you have to pay 25 gold each, or is it 25 gold? I believe it's 25 gold and 22,500 silver for each one. So you do get more than just the ship. You get its port slot, some gold, some premium, and some premium consumables. And here it is in the premium shop. Same information listed. There's the price, £14.05, or 19.99 in euros. Let's get back to the game. So here we are in the game with the Mikasa. We have a bit of lag here, unfortunately, so we'll just speed this on up. And you don't really want to see the vessel going super slowly. I was very... well, I shouldn't be surprised to see this, but team killing going on already. A destroyer of ours fires salvo at random. He has no chance of hitting any enemies at all, and he completely ruins the day of our Chester there. And then he proceeds to get completely destroyed by friendly torpedoes, so he got what he deserved, really. And there he goes. Two ships lost already, and the battle has hardly started. We've already got a -2 score, so it is, let's see, three battleships, 4 cruisers, and 3 destroyers versus a full enemy team. This is online gaming, everyone. Anyhow, let's get back to the review of the Mikasa and speed the footage up a bit more, because it is very, very slow indeed. This is going at about 4 times or 5 times the footage speed. I'll slow it down as I've fired now. So the reload, as you can see, is quite long. It's around 27 seconds with my crew. I put in my well-trained battleship crew into this. And we're looking for shots on the enemy St. Louis. Our friendlies are already getting completely destroyed. We get a nice hit into him. 2,500 damage. I don't think it's a full penetration, but 2,500 is still not too shabby. But now we have to reload. I must say, Wargaming have made quite a nice looking model of the ship. This is not without any camouflage, this is how the ship looks when you buy it. And it does look quite nice. But that's only a cosmetic thing, it won't, of course, mean anything when you're in the battle. So what I have found out in the few games I've played in this vehicle is you have to use concealment and cover as much as possible because you're so slow, and avoid torpedo spreads like these. Luckily, I do manage to get past them in time, and the ones in front of me lose some steam before I get near them. We fire another battery off, and we're trying to hit that St. Louis. We hit him for another 2.3. Okay, which is alright. Unfortunately, I was having lag during this battle, so there is a bit of freezing because this is taken directly from the game. The game's memory. So we're getting hit by St. Louis rounds there. We can't actually see who it is, but we know it's a St. Louis because he's firing very quickly at us, and there's multiple rounds in the air at once. There he is, 7.5 kilometers away. We could fire, but of course right now we would just hit the island. So we're just creeping round the corner, slowing down so we can get a shot and try and hide as much of our body as possible. He's actually sailing away from us right now. And we open fire. The shells are reasonably accurate, but then again, most battleship shells are not renowned for their accuracy. Maybe that's something they'll implement with new lines in the game, maybe the Germans or the British. But I highly doubt that. Battleships aren't supposed to be accurate. We get set on fire, and I don't really want to repair or extinguish the flames right now because we're in the line of fire from enemy cruisers. One of the St. Louis's goes down, we get hit, and we're reversing back. Quite foolishly, but we're still reversing. Still on fire, but it doesn't matter too much. We fire a couple of rounds, but we miss. This guy's now coming towards us. The next two do hit, but they do very minimal damage. If they were high explosive, they probably would have set them on fire. But I can't be certain. So now we're behind cover, we've almost reloaded.
Problem solved, sir.
The reload isn't too bad, but considering you only have 2 turrets, it's... The selling point of this ship isn't the speed or the guns, the main guns at least. You can, before I neglect to mention this fact, train your crews, your battleship crews, without any penalties, so they can use all their skills and get more experience to level up and get more skills. We've reloaded high explosive because we're not going to penetrate the St. Louis at that angle, I don't think. Reloaded, firing, very minimal damage. Set him on fire though, so that's nice. And he is almost within our secondary battery range, 3.1 kilometers. He's firing at us, we bounce a few of his shots and our secondaries now open up. This is why people who don't know this machine yet just come close to it. They don't know that the secondary batteries are actually quite good, coupled with some primary fire. As you can see, this guy is on quite low health, he's on 4,000, now 3,000. And he's just getting completely wrecked by our secondary batteries. Sets him on fire, secondaries are just going to town on him, and the St. Louis has a lot of secondaries as well, but he can't seem to compete. And that is one of the fun things about this vessel, is people underestimate your secondary batteries. And now we're firing at the Tier 3 Japanese battleship, the Kawachi. And we need to get away from him, because he has quite the number of weapons. We do fire, and we do some damage. I see this cruiser's coming towards me, but at the time, I don't think I realised this was a Tenru cruiser. And Tenru cruisers have torpedoes. So you can see how this one is going to plan out. from me. We're still using islands, we're still using cover as much as possible. That battleship's just fired at us, so we should be alright for now. However, that cruiser isn't stupid, and he does have some nasty torpedoes, as you're going to see very soon. There he is, it's 1.9 kilometers away. If this island was in the way, I would have opened up with secondary fire already, but here we go, secondary fire incoming. We're hitting with our primaries. Secondaries are opening up, but I've hugely miscalculated this. And we get struck by torpedoes. That was not good at all. I should have realised that Tenryus, or I should have realised it was a Tenryu, and they have torpedoes. And you just get completely smashed like that. Very slow, very unmaneuverable, and you go down. So there was a brief replay on the Mikasa. You can see how you can use it and how it has several drawbacks which make it quite an ineffective machine. There are some bonuses, there are some positives. It has a good amount of health. The guns, when they penetrate, are quite good. The secondary armament for a tier 2 is phenomenal. It has so many 80mm and 152mm guns that people who don't know the secondary armament of this vehicle will suffer greatly if they come in too close. However, drawbacks include the fact it's slow, it only has 2 turrets with 4 guns as its main armament. The maneuverability means you can't avoid torpedoes that well. The health pool is good, but it's meaningless if you do get struck by torpedoes. And the range of the guns, before I forget that, is only 9.5 kilometers, so you can only fire at targets who have seen you. Other players may do quite well in it, but it isn't really a ship that is a favourite of mine. It does look very nice, and it does train your crews up and give you free experience that you can convert. So there are positives and negatives, but for £14 5p, if the ship was on its own, wouldn't be very good at all. The fact it does come with gold, premium time and premium consumables does make it better than it would be, but perhaps a £10 charge would be quite good. So for those who are thinking about purchasing the vehicle, I would say, unless you are a ship collector or a vehicle collector in the game, then or you need to train a battleship crew, then I would say hold off on your money. You can buy a tier 4 Japanese battleship ship to train your crews, and I forget the name of it, but I know it exists, so you might want to buy that instead. It might cost more, however, so you'll have to see. I hope you found this video of use, and if you did enjoy it, please consider giving it a like down below, and if you're new, perhaps subscribe. I'll be doing more World of Warships videos along with World of Tanks and other videos as well. And as always, I've been Geogen, this has been World of Warships, and I'll see you chaps and chapettes in the next one.